left open. Yep,
Yeah.
just going to go to the side of RNG.
And has played it historically, right?
Yeah.
We've seen him play it in the past. It's not... It's certainly not an issue of like Gala's ability to play. It's more like RNG haven't indexed into.
It's like RNG
champion.
have been a team where Gala has actually been willing to play multiple AD carries.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they've actually experimented. They've tried things. AL though go with Xiaohao's Lee Sin once again. Not super surprising on that one. And Tangyuan with a blind top pick. They seem to be very comfortable just blinding for ZDZ.
And if they did, I would still expect it to be a Jax for like 3 out of 3. I feel like out of like the Jax, Fiora, Camille, the 3 stock considered carries, the Jax is the most blindable. Also gives you diversity in terms of like being able to participate in these team fights with that Counter-Strike or just being able to put all your pressure towards sides. And now for RNG, I mean, we still have the Ashe up if they want to go for the Ashe Varus combo. Heimerdinger is there. I mean, SwordArt in his pregame interview wanted to be on the Heimerdinger side of, you know, the Heimerdinger lane, but you don't always get what you want.
Yeah, I don't think it's happening. We've seen 2 games this split from Ming of a hard engage support. And the rest has been enchanters and now 1 game of Shen. I think the odds of him playing that Nautilus are pretty slim. But Wei going with the Vi here. Bit of hard engage available. It's actually the first game of Vi from Wei this split. Not typically the way that they've been playing the game, but Ashe
is crazy.
still open.
Because it's been, you know, a pick.
Yeah,
I think of like previous splits where Wei has been absolutely phenomenal.
Wei's been loving the Wukong, like far more than anyone else. It's been like a priority for RNG.
And I think that makes sense when they haven't been one of our teams that have really liked going like the double melee route, or you know, we're not seeing Angel be like, sure, he's a game on the Jace, has some Macaulay games, but like haven't seen Silas. Not one of the teams that's like Renekton, obviously not going like Knight route of being like, oh, bring Lee Sin into the mid lane, haha, you know. So I think it works well with what RNG have been trying to do.
Yeah.
But now looking towards phase 2 is
one of my favorite games from RNG was Angel bringing the Twist of Fate to the mid lane.
Yeah.
I think that worked super well. It was really entertaining to watch. I'd love to see more of that kind of stuff coming out.
I think it could be rough against teams with stronger or like more solidified like mids or mid jungles where it could be a little bit rough and you could face a lot of pressure and not be able to find those opportunities out on the map. But definitely feels like there's, even against those teams, drafts that you can maybe set up or like lane matchups where it definitely is doable. But now AL wanting to deny the tank in the top side. We've had 2 games of tanks for Breathe. Sion game 1 or in game 2. In both times, those front lines have given them bits of annoyances, and Breathe showed great engages in both. Game 1 especially with the Sion, but even having one tremendous or knock-up in game 2.
Yeah, fantastic moments from Breathe across the series. A missed ban.
Yeah. Or AL saying, hey, last game you were overconfident. We don't even need 5 bans to take you down. Looking at where they can go next. I mean, right, this Ashe being a bit of a flex, but you could look to finish off your bot lane rotation here. Or if you want to save for counter picks, since they're already showing Syndra, I mean, for PinZ, I don't think he's shown too much that really lanes well against the Syndra pick itself. Right now, highlighting the Ryze, which would enable them to go back to the strategy that they played last time around. You're not necessarily playing for mid lane, but you are playing for side pressure and to really just enable ZDZ and then have this link up of Xiaohao and PinZ. And yeah, with no swap round, it does look like they're going to index more into having a pair with Xiaohao as compared to just all-inning on PinZ winning hard in this mid lane matchup.
Yeah, so RNG, we need I assume support. I'm assuming that it will be Gala on the Varus. We don't have carrier in this league. And then a top lane matchup for the Jax. Okay, Breathe. Okay, I see you. Goes for the Fiora into the Jax. As far as I understand, is this a Jax favored matchup?
I mean, it trades at different points of the game, right? Also depends on like Counter-Strike, baiting out each other's abilities, how their post is supposed to come out later on. I think it does become more Jax-centric, but yeah, I mean, it's going to be 50-50. Who can get ahead early, how we're going to see these jungles interact, and Ming is going to go with the Heimerdinger that I asked for in the first rotation. Thanks, Ming.
I want to see SwordArt go for the Nautilus. Go for the opposite side of what he wanted in the interview. It would be funny. But it will be the Ashe, of course, in the support role. And Betty going for the Kaisa here. So able to follow up on those Enchanted Crystal Arrows. Does feel like a squad that is willing to jump in together. A squad that is willing to dive straight onto that backline.
Interested to see how this one goes again. The top lane matchup especially how junglers can influence that. If Breathe or ZDZ, if one of them can just find the better end of out-skilling the other one in this 1v1, Jack's incredibly strong in the level 1, so if he can set something up with that Counter-Strike and maybe get Breathe low, and yeah, just a lot of potential for aggressive trades to come out there. And then for A,
anyone's legend, 1-8 in the standings right now, and yet bringing Royal Never Give Up to a third map in the series. And everybody charging down into the bottom lane. It's a Heimerdinger game, and that means the whole squad is here to deny these turrets. Ooh, Ming has actually managed to sneak one into the brush, though. I think he's actually going to get away with that.
AL standing, staring in the river, enjoying the flow of the calm water at their feet, chilling out. Got some Bob Ross on in the background.
Have I just walked into an ASMR session, or it's like that scene in Fight Club where he goes in the church?
Oh, yeah.
Find your penguin cave, like your special place. What a strange film. Fantastic film, though. Have you seen Fight Club?
Oh, who hasn't seen Fight Club?
Okay, just checking. There's a lot of films you haven't seen. I think it's a reasonable question.
No, I agree. There are many films I've not seen, but yeah, Fight Club is you can't not watch Fight Club.
Modern classic. ZDZ. I say modern, actually. It's getting on.
Right. I mean, already seeing top lane off to the start we expected, right? ZDZ having that Counter-Strike, able to go in for this. Breathe is more about those short, bursty trades coming through. You can see that just from his Q going up, trying to mark those vitals and really get off the procs of those of the grasp.
And just trying to avoid the counter hits from... I was going to say counter strikes, but that's actually an ability of Jax. But what I mean is trying to avoid the trade backs from ZDZ, who will hit level 2, and that means Breeze surely just has to back away a little bit here. Can't afford to go toe-to-toe with Jax while a level down.
If you missed it, Breathe let the world know. Him and ZDZ from the same town.
Yeah.
Both from Wenzhou. And made it very clear he will not go down to ZDZ. Feels he is the superior player. Knows ZDZ very well. A lot of it was very banterous. Not very intense, but still, there's no world he's losing to ZDZ is what he said verbatim.
And then locked in a Fiora against ZDZ's Jax. I feel like this game is the culmination of that interview, because the rest of the series he played Sion, he played Ornn, snooze fest. Absolute snooze fest in the top side. He played well, don't get me wrong, but you know, that's not what we're here for. And now we get Jax versus Fiora for the ultimate Wenzhou showdown in the top side.
Both junglers, we said we might not see 2v2s, but we knew we were going to see 2v2s, Munch.
Oh, wait, Xiaohao the sweeper.
Xiaohao spotted out. Not going to be able to get anything for now.
But, I mean, Xiaohao didn't know he was spotted. Wei did that secretly, sneakily. Pinzy being pushed in the meantime. There we go. Ward onto Wei. Scatter the Weak dodged away from, and it will just be the wave shoved on in. Xiaohao goes for this top scuttle. Looks like Wei is going to move up as well. I don't think he'll be there to contest it, though.
Yeah, we can see Angel making his way over, so it looks like they want to look for him, but Xiao should be able to get out of here for free. And, you know, just got a message from Machine, and he said it's Fiora's 11th birthday.
Today is?
Yeah.
Oh.
Ah, happy birthday,
Fiora. We'll get the cake out. We'll get some candles on the go. How exciting. How very exciting.
Now, do we believe Fiora wins on her birthday? Do players usually win or lose on their birthdays? Is that a buff or is that a nerf?
Do you know, I don't have the stats to hand for that.
I've casted a few player birthdays,
I feel
but
like
I
they
don't
always
remember. Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards it ends up being a loss.
Crucially, it's not a player birthday; it's a champion birthday. It's different.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the opposite. Maybe it's always a win. We'll need to. I'll message the stats team. We'll send that one up to headquarters.
You know, Sheen, Hysterics, anyone who's watching, you know, the stats team, please let us know.
Literally anyone on Twitter just struck me a DM like...
Who wants to be the stats team?
Budgets. Well, maybe we'll find out one day. And to be honest, I have no idea how you would even find that out. Even if you have a stats team, how the hell do you get access to...
You manually find player birthday, see if they played on that day, like, tally it up if they won.
Anyone in the world that's able to pull that stat out for me, honestly.
You're going to have to pay them.
Well, I'm not...
Maybe they get the cake.
Yeah, I'll get them a cake. There we go. That seems more reasonable.
There you go. Munchables.
I'll get you a cake. Wherever you are in the world, I will mail deliver you a cake.
There we go. Confirmed here on the LPL
somewhere local, so it's not horrendous by the time it arrives.
It could be horrendous.
I'll make a cake and post it to someone.
Hey, that's more
Just
personal.
Get a
There's
jiffy
more
bag
care.
that's full of destroyed cake. Oh, magnificent.
You know, while we were talking about all that, RNG picked up a dragon. So, first dragon in tow for RNG.
I would argue that getting the first dragon in League of Legends is the equivalent of being mailed a cake. It's like the League of Legends world equivalent.
How? How does that even...
Well,
I feel like getting a dragon as a team, you're pretty stoked about. Somebody gets mailed a like week-old destroyed Munchables cake. I don't know.
Wow, you're underestimating my cake.
I
still
mean,
incredible.
People have seen your pasta image on Twitter. If you haven't seen that, do not trust Munchables with your pasta.
I did make a block of solid pasta by accident. So there was a conclusion to that, by the way. Turns out, if you put pasta in the water while the water's cold and then heat the water up manually on the hob instead of boiling it first, it'll pull all the starch out of the pasta into the water, and then you're essentially like just heating up. It's essentially like heating up a bowl of corn flour. It just turns solid, and you get a giant slab of pasta.
Yeah. So don't do exactly what he just did.
Yeah.
And we're gonna hope Breathe especially doesn't do that with his pasta. Yeah. I'm en route for the Fiora birthday win. Right now, AL actually looking to shut that down. We see PinZ moving up towards the top side. Xiaohao's already here.
Yeah, wants to potentially 2v2. I don't think this is happening though. I feel like Breathe is just gonna chill.
I mean, he would have either needed to fight and try to force that wave in faster, which would have opened him up to take more trades and more damage from Breathe, or PinZ would have had to wait for the next wave to come in, and then you try to set up that potential dive coming through, and Xiaohao would probably have to show up on the wave. Either way, it felt like there was different ways to try to approach it, and neither one coming on through, and now Breathe hunting keeps EDC in lane.
Yeah, and he will deny the recall there. In the meantime, Ming and Gala, that is a massive wave that they've managed to shove in. That'll be at least one plate, maybe two, honestly, for Gala. That's great news for the RNG bot lane, and it's great news for Wei, who's moving in off the back of this pressure.
He's spotted out. Is he going to be able to get anything down? We were highlighting for AL, their bot lane just really has not been a strength for this team this split, which, again, is crazy because that was the strength of their team last split, but SwordArt coming in over Chocho hasn't been able to work out the meta as well. Not something you really know.
PinZ's in trouble. Ult's available as well after the Rune Prism. Flashed underneath the tower. Is this going to be a solo kill for Wei? No. Can't keep going on this one. Ming goes down in the meantime. The Xiaohao makes plays to the bottom side. Gala, 1v3, turns it around. Nearly kills him off.
Still, overall, one kill goes in favor of AL. We did see some summoners burnt. Flash lost on PinZ because of the exchange in mid. Xiaohao utilizing his flash there to be able to get off the gank in bot lane. We're going to see how it goes down here. You'd assume a flash kick is what comes out. Sonic Wave into, kick right into the turret. Great job to punish Ming. But still, like you said, a lot of return damage there. So not able to capitalize and like turn it into anything more. But nice injection of gold for AL.
Gala going with the Comet on his lethality virus as well. That's old school. That's 2020 lethality virus right there. You used to see the builds with Comet, going with the biscuits as well.
So
all about stacking the mana flow band.
I have got an update from our stats team. Sorry to derail from the game again. But it's Derek's actually pointing out that Fiora was released on a 29th of February, which, you know, there is no 29th of February this year. Therefore,
she's only like 3 years old.
I was going to say, I mean, I guess by normal logic, you know, if that happens to like a human, you do give them the birthday on the 28th, so seems fair. Well, but I prefer your logic of just assuming they're like 3 years old.
Yeah, I had a friend that was born on the 29th of Feb at school, and they claimed that they were only like 4 or something when we were in secondary school. which I didn't necessarily buy at the time, but it is convenient for me on cast now to pretend that I did, and I bought it.
I would buy it too, and again, I would run with that card all the time. It'd be hilarious.
RNG getting what I would say is the equivalent of a mail cake, and getting first tower of the game.
Twice. I don't know why everything's a mail cake, but RNG, first dragon, first turret. I don't think they got... Wait, did they get first blood? Wait, where did RNG's one kill come from? So ALS was in the bot lane.
RNG don't have a kill.
Oh, wait.
Look at the scoreboard.
I was looking at their series.
Hey, there's RNG
Oh!
first kill.
You know,
SwordArt goes down.
I saw the one next to their name, which is obviously the game, you know, the series score. And yeah, I was very wrong.
This cast is becoming quite unhinged.
It is.
I
don't know why either.
happened.
We're still only in the first series. We still have a whole other series to get through. We have TES versus WE. There we go. We still remember that.
You really set yourself up for failure there, but you managed to nail it. That's what counts. That's what counts.
Youmu's Ghostblade on Gala. 2 extra longswords in pocket. Him right now, incredibly strong. Hitting like one of those tuk-tuks that you see in the streets of Bangkok that anyone can get to go to where they need to and get an authentic
There is nothing about a tuk-tuk that is hard. Like, that is maybe the worst possible analogy.
He's at an item...
Like, you could be run over by a tuk-tuk, and the tuk-tuk will receive
He's at
more
an item
damage
with 2
than you do.
components. He isn't hitting like an absolute truck yet. We have not evolved to that point. Rift Herald, bot lane though, so I think RNG should have to give this up. But 3 members are here. Still though, do you really want to mess with Xiaohao, Enchanted Crystal Arrow? We have PinZ. At the very least, their presence will stop any further push from coming through, but won't be able to deny the charge.
No, so 2 plates taken by AL there. 1-1 on the scoreboard. Crucially though, we're 11 minutes into the game, and RNG already have 2 Drakes. Like, while it has been a quiet game, Gala has cleanse. Everything's fine. Great little arrow from SwordArt though. But while it has been a quiet game, like, RNG have quietly been building a massive advantage when it comes to those Drakes.
Yeah, they've been doing well, and again, it's about what they're able to set up. I think their composition way more pick-oriented this time around. And oh, PinZ.
Yeah, he's trying to
Not
do
enough
it.
confidence.
Bone plating makes that so one-sided.
But going back, you know, game 1, game 2, they had such solid front lines. It could be about that straight-up 5v5, but this time around, having a Fiora in top lane, you have Ming on the Heimer. It's a lot more about the single target CC you have coming out with the Waze Ultimate, Scout of the Week, Chains of Corruption. So for RNG, it is going to be more about picks. There is some, like, extended standoffs you can win just with the range that you have, but still not going to be able to rely on at least breathe in the same way that you have been in game 1 and game 2 to just blankly stare in front of the enemy team. And for AL, we're seeing them go back to what worked for them in game 2, right? They realized, hey, it was about the 1-3-1, it was about the side lane pressure we were able to maintain. So having PinZ on this time around, sure, won't be able to necessarily win hard in like this 1v1, but if you can start unlocking him and roaming him around with the Realm Warp or doing this,
And no! That was the last split second from Angel.
SwordArt's Nautilus hooks in game 1, not on point. The Enchanted Crystal Arrows looking clean.
Do you want to know the difference? When you throw an Enchanted Crystal Arrow, you don't go with it.
Yeah.
And that's really the fundamental difference that we're seeing here. But you're absolutely right. He has been on point with these ultimates. Gala lost his cleanse. Angel now loses his flash. Let's see if they can punish that lack of summoner, though. Because that was one of the criticisms from AL earlier on in the series, right? Is there were flashes down, but they didn't reinforce the issue. They managed to get a TP out of ZDZ. Breed getting dived on the top side here. Great bit of play to start it off, but won't be enough to survive 3v1.
Even making sure the kill goes over to the Jax. Love to see it. He is the one who's going to have to be strong. And again, when you have matchups like this that are volatile, like Fiora Jax, any like swinging gold, points towards their next items you can give them to be able to consistently win that out, will be something to use. So AL with some nice answers, despite, I think, the steady flow that RNG have found so far in this early game.
Way here to deny the tower going down. ZDZ forced away. Xiaohao denied the Gromp, as the top side will be shored up by RNG. But Drake coming up in 90 seconds here. It does feel like RNG, their focus is going to be around this bottom side.
AL has hit more item breakpoints, though. We have, I mean, 4 mythics coming up across the board. Kenpo Chainsword on way, which, you know, very criticized, especially, it was criticized last patch, but even with more buffs coming out on Black Cleaver, a lot of people feeling like that is the way to go. Also just hard, like, are you the best person to apply things like the Grievous Wounds? No. The argument was always in, like, the cost efficiency, which Black Cleaver not too much more expensive. Point is, that's built. We don't have a mythic built for Angel just yet. We do have items on other key members, though, so might not be in the worst place, especially if Angel looks like he should be able to get a back off here and potentially even be able to pick that up.
Yeah. I feel like there's an even stronger argument for the Black Cleaver when your carries are a Fiora and a lethality Varus, right?
Like, even stronger. It feels like that argument is strong even without that, but you're throwing it in, it's like, ooh.
Kind of bonus on top. Bit of a setup here, though, from Ming and Wei. Don't think AL are going to walk into it for the time being. Pinsy trying to get this bot wave pushed out before the Drake spawns. 30 seconds on that.
Here, we need to build the tension.
Do it.
Wards, down, sweeper, coming out AL, all angling this pressure. Ooh, volley, thrown. What will happen next? We don't know. We're following. Look at the jungle pet right next to Xiaohao, looking menacingly.
So
they're
cute.
looking for the pick, Munch!
The ward comes down, and they will find the pick, actually, as the arrow lands onto Wei, forced to flash. And AL back away. Chain of Corruption, a little short from Gala. It means AL will walk away with their lives, but get a jungle flash out of this. I think you're happy with that one. Pinsy through the port, trying to force anyone away. Is Drake pulled out of the pit? And look at the frog!
Like, aww, did like a little spin. RNG will elect to just give this one up in the end. AL did commit ZZ's presence down here, which, as we just saw, opens it for top lane Turks to go over to breathe. And now, oh, okay. You know,
You thought it was Baron, didn't you?
yeah, and that looked like 16 minutes. Okay, we're not Baron. I was gonna say that is rather ambitious. This game is
With a
not
lethality Varus as well. It's not exactly fast.
Maybe the game just feels long because the series unexpectedly went 2-3 games.
Are we just pointing out that SwordArt hasn't finished his quest? I guess so.
Yeah.
17 minutes, that's pretty late.
Yeah.
But then I guess he's not really been laning. He's been kind of running around the map.
True. Really just kind of like hovering between river for that extended period of time where we saw him throw 2 enchanted crystal arrows in a time where he was just hovering back and forth between mid and bot.
Yeah. But a couple of volleys, he'll get it done. He'll finish it off. I feel like that was kind of mean of the observers. to just single SwordArt's quest out like that. But it's a pro game at the end of the day. And SwordArt, that's not a good pathing to take. Forced to flash. Reed using the grand challenge there on Xiaohao as well. Scatter the weak, but no follow-up.
We've seen this in all 3 games, though. SwordArt walking by himself, trying to, whether it's get vision or just the paths he takes.
He's just desperate to finish his quest.
And it opens up consistently for his flash to get blown, for picks to come out, and really giving RNG an avenue to attack. Now for the side of AL, going to group up in mid. Side lanes are a bit neutral, so it kind of would have been nice to see them like allocate someone top and bot. Even both CDZ and Pinsy have their TPs available. Unlike RNG, like Angel having no TP, unless AL's plan is to force something here, but with Betty going towards top side, that doesn't seem like the plan.
And I want to just quickly mention something while we've got a little bit of downtime here. The reason why Kaisa isn't seen that much in the bottom lane right now is because the entire bottom lane meta is really long range, and this CS difference is what you get when you're trying to play Kaisa into lethality Varus. It's just unplayable in the laning phase.
Yeah, and we've seen how important bot lane 2v2 has been as teams, and securing things like these early dragons for RNG is CC comes out.
Yeah, it's onto the Heimerdinger. Ming flashes away as Wei playing body block onto ZDZ. And this is like how RNG's comp functions, really, right? You just protect Gala, keep on throwing out the damage from Gala, try and body block, try and deny with the Vi, Syndra scatter the weak, and just play for the siege, essentially.
The thing is, you need to be able to maintain pressure with Breed to do this, though, because had ZDZ walked, like, let's say, walked over towards the mid and Betty been there, you just open yourself up for a full-on engage coming through. And sure, you have some tools to be able to dissuade that, like not using Chains of Corruption offensively, using it defensively and Scatter the Weak too, but just so many different ways to be able to jump onto the backline. Even like Realm Warping someone like Xiaohao in behind them, they're going to have a lot of ways to pick off RNG. But we have seen a good push and pull in that last sequence, right, where Breathe is pushed up just as far as the other 4 members of RNG in the mid lane, making it so AL have choices, and they have to opt to lose somewhere to make a play wherever they want to be strong.
Yeah, it does feel like it's all going to be down to how AL approach this. how well they're able to contest things. Sweep has come out. I wasn't sure if that ward was going to get away with sneaking in there, but for the time being, it is RNG in control of the Baron area. There's Pinzi and Gala battling over the chicken. Who gets it? The reset comes on through, but Gala, with a piercing arrow, finishes the job.
Huge by Gala. I mean, the Raptor never even saw it coming much. Like, what could he do?
Yeah, popcorn chicken popped.
We were still waiting on him to pick up his Randu and Zoman. The Warmogs had just barely been finished. Didn't even have his plated steel caps yet.
His Atmas still not picked up just yet.
Just about to pop his old Poppy ultimate, which I don't remember the name of.
It was something diplomacy, right?
Oh.
Wasn't it like...
That sounds right.
Or negotiation or something?
No, I think diplomacy was in there.
But I think we're thinking of Noxian diplomacy.
Oh, you're right. I don't know whose ult that was. Or is.
Oh, it was like political immunity or something like this. Diplomatic immunity. I think that was what it was called.
If you've been around since old Poppy Ultimate, those were good times. Fun days. Poppy ult one person, dive the turret, kill them. 50-50 chance of you also dying yourself. Your ult runs out, you're dying the turret. Oh, Pinzi though, getting cut out. Manages to escape with Throw Orb.
Oh, what's down? And Pinzi somehow gets out of this one. Wei wants to punish though. Ultimate not available and forced away himself. Low on HP gets over the wall. There's danger weak to keep himself alive. Gala has to get some big damage out as Wei. I don't know how Wei managed to get out of this play. But AL finding themselves a pick.
Pinzi was being pinched and still manages to Realm Warp and get out in time to even help his team turn around a pick. Not going to be able to turn into any objective, but Dragon is live. We see both AD carries use flashes in that exchange. Hell, Wei, Xiaohao, Pinzi, so many flashes burned that could really change how this fight goes through. Angel still has his, so at least a bit of safety there, and he will be TPing into the mid lane.
Yeah, Dragon spawning now. Remember, this would be sole point if RNG can get it. ZDZ moving over to the team. This is just going to be burst down before RNG can even get in, and an arrow on top of it. Wei might just commit to this one. Chains of Corruption is there. The damage on SwordArt, but they can't finish the job. And now everyone goes in from AL. Wei low on HP. Performance on ZDZ is massive with the counter-strike. And here comes Benny on the back line. One already taken as Ming and Breen trying to escape. Xiaohao doesn't have much energy right now, but should be able to finish Ming off. Sonic Wave goes wide. Ming with a bit of fancy footwork, but it does not matter. AL managed to find the fight.
And now AL can turn this into a Baron huge. And I'm saying it. Don't let it be your birthday. Don't let it be your champion's birthday. Don't let it be your grandma's birthday on the day that you play an LPL match. Because I'm calling it here. You just don't win. Or am I setting up? Ooh, I thought I cursed it. I thought I cursed it.
I was real worried there for a second, but they do get the Baron. They walk away with it. And my goodness, are RNG going to lose to AL? Are AL going to get their second win on the board?
I mean, AL, once they close the gap, again, who's really taking the stand? You have so many avenues once again to be able to punish ZDZ. My God, allowed to get the Shax 3 times in a row has been huge. We see it started off, Arrow comes out, and I don't think AL really planned on following this. It's RNG who are opting in, but look at that, Rune Prison on the Ming. Wei, they're realizing they just don't have the tools because a lot of things, Chains of Corruption thrown out forward, not onto the Ryze to finish him off. And then it's right here, Betty goes in, a lot of damage down, and they're just able to keep running forward. I didn't exactly point out CDC's Counter-Strike in that replay, but we all saw it.
Well, I mean, we saw that the first time. We saw that the first time. It's the fact that he then goes in on Ming again here with the Counter-Strike. And, you know, somebody spam the Counter-Strike thing in chat in all the different languages because it's very relevant right now.
You can see the key thing was like a lot of RNG's members trying to hit that the core of AL, but then realizing, hey, Pinzi's isolated here by himself, but some things like Scout of the Week, Chains of Corruption had already been thrown out.
Yeah.
And then once Wei goes in, it's like, oh wait, what do we have to kill this guy? Oh, we don't have anything.
And I feel like RNG really committed onto specifically SwordArt, like going really, like Ming stepped really far forward to try and get the rockets to finish SwordArt, but like, what do you really gain if SwordArt's dead? His ult is on cooldown already. That's all he's bringing to the fight.
He's already done his job. So a lot of those tools is being blown, wrong targets, and now we're seeing how hard it is for RNG to push it forward. And earlier you hit on right, can we see things like the Blade of the Rune King come out? for the Jax. AL's composition much better set up to play around sides this time. So even with it being slightly nerfed, does come through. Is Betty, you need to be careful.
It does, but equally, RNG just kind of whiffing on the play. The rest of the squad come in through the Realm Warp. And RNG now, it feels like the pressure is on for them. It feels like they've got to make something happen because slowly but surely AL are getting ahead. And with a Kaisa, late game, things are looking pretty nice. For anyone's legend, Tower will go down in the mid lane as Pinzy, happy to tank up a bit of damage for the cause.
And those are the circumstances where RNG are kind of best bet to get damage down, which is kind of funny, is AL siege, like trying to take their structures because they are incredibly long range. You will get your range off, and since you're next to or behind your turrets, they aren't going to be able to look for those engages on you. But the problem is, how do you turn that into a position where you are now forcing a fight unless AL overextend? So that's just showing right there, right? A lot of it being up to what AL wants to do as compared to like an aggressive play that RNG will be able to make. I guess you can bring Wei to a side lane and try to find a pick there, but with things like Enchanted Crystal on Realm Warp, AL will always have onus to make these plays first.
Yeah, Breathe will see the play coming, back away, keep himself alive. But we're starting to get to the point in the game where it is feeling AL favored currently, and you have to go back to game number 2. You have to go back to subbing Tangyuan in the mid lane, like playing this full Draven composition with Shen support and think, can you afford to be this bold when you are 5-4 in the standings, when you're already going to be fighting for like middle of the table playoff standing? Like, can you really afford to have what I would call a happy game like that?
Yeah, I think a lot of it just is going to come down to like what their like Oregon player goals are, right? Like if you're kind of fine, because even now, right, none of us doubt RNG making it the playoffs. If it's all about seeding, which you're already kind of hard pressed for, like it won't be up to you to get like those top 2 spots or anything like that, right? It's going to be down to like how other teams perform. I think it could be valuable to get some stage time with certain comps. Whether those comps are the ones that you really want to dedicate stage time to in this meta with those members, I don't know. But at least there's some like long-term thinking there, even if it does bite them here, because AL set up so far to win this game, might even just get their third Hextech Drake in a row here.
Pins big damage onto Wei here, onto the whole squad in fact, as Gala almost gets finished off. Pins has not even taken damage yet. Finally they turn onto him, but here comes Betty onto the backline, ZDZ on the flank as well. And AL have picked RNG apart. The fight is over before it even began. Pinzy setting it all up, and Betty and ZDZ knock it down.
I mean, Pinzy just sidestepping every single skill shot being thrown at him, and then able to just barrage them with those Qs. Now for AL, gonna have some minions here to play with this. Enchanted Crystal Arrow goes wide, but not only are they gonna get their third Dragon, like I said, third Hextech Drake in a row for AL. Also get bot lane turret. Pinzy might even be getting mid here. Didn't look like he was actually hitting turret, was just pushing it away, but we'll see. Wei gets locked down and chunks so low. And I mean, hell, Wei's the only one that has like point and click, easy to land CC. He's already taken low. Pinzy was sidestepping everything else. They'll get chunked, and then Betty following it up with the ult. I love that he knows he's the safety of ZDZ's teleport as well, so he doesn't really have to fear overextending too much. And then just able to run them down. I don't know if that flash was necessarily needed. Pinzy maybe should have held on to that one for the future, but they're in such a commanding lead right now.
He wanted a bit of credit for the play that he realistically set up all by himself. 1v3 winning
He's 1-0-7 after doing all the heavy lifting there.
I know. But Betty the one to get the credit as he flies in and makes the play. Angel currently 0-0-0 in this game as well. Like, that's a mid-diff right there. 107 for Pinzy, who is just looking fantastic today. Honestly, he's had a great day.
But it also just feels like so hard or weird to like, because you're not really matching Ryze and sides, right? You're kind of just catching waves. Ideally, it's the Syndra. You want these team fights. You need a front line in front of you to be dishing out as much damage as possible, and you just really don't have that. So RNG kind of have like this 1-4 where both Varus and Syndra are catching waves mid, and everything's on your Fiora to be able to go and capitalize. And it just isn't able to pan out.
Pinzy is so tanky. Even when he does take some skill shots, like a lot of HP to work with. Managing to walk away with more than half of his health. No sustain in the composition though, so it does mean like that poke will stick. And that's what RNG want, right? Is to be able to poke at range like this before a fight. It's just whether or not they can find that opportunity consistently. Nice bit of mechanical play from Way there. Onto ZDZ. The grand challenge is there, but there's Betty to turn it all around. And RNG are getting annihilated. Anyone's legend. Living up to the second word in their name.
I thought ZDZ was dead, but the arrow and the counter-strike setting up for Betty to come in. Xiaohao finishing off some kills as well. This is going to happen. AL going to be able to take down RNG.
This is unbelievable. Xiaohao, 100% kill participation this game as well. Betty with the insane ultimates. ZDZ running it into the tower in the final minute of the game. But it doesn't matter. 14-1, anyone's legend with a massive upset over RNG.
Huge props to the whole top side. ZDZ, Pinsy overall, feel like they had like a great series. Xiaohao, I mean, was just a standout. Even the bot lane, right? Like, Betty had good moments. Like, again, we've talked about the 2v2 isn't exactly there, but if you know your 2v2's weakness and you can, like, draft and play for team fights, that's a solid game plan to be able to take over games. And then SwordArt with his veterancy, you know, helping glue and bring it all together. So AL, I mean, taking down RNG. And like you said, RNG, maybe this could have been a 2-0 had they not elected to bring in Tangyuan in game 2, had they not opted into a draft and had a lot of like off-meta flavors.